It's 3 years since I had my complete hysterectomy. And today I just wanted to share with you guys the reason. So for years I was told, guys, that it was just period pain. I believed them. I pushed through it. I smiled through it. But I knew deep down inside, guys, that it wasn't just period pain. So eventually I found out that I had endometriosis. That was the reason why I had the intense period pains and other symptoms that I've been having. That was when they took me serious, but unfortunately the damage was already done. I decided to use my platform or to start my YouTube channel to like shine a light on issues like this that never was taken serious. Maybe now people are beginning to know what endometriosis was, but in those days I was dismissed. Sometimes I used to walk out of the GP surgery feeling so deflated, feeling like as if I was a hypochondriac. This probably also contributed to the downward spiral of my mental health because, going into the doctors and telling them I think there's something wrong, and them telling you no, it's just your period. I even had a doctor that said to me I needed to lose weight, even though then I wasn't that big. I was just big boned, but she was like, it could be your weight that is causing the period pain. If you lose some weight, then the pain will stop. If I can reach out to just one person that is going through trying to figure out what is happening to their body, then I think I'll be happy. Or to stop someone else from going through what I've gone through, and in the end, it's too late for me to have kids, for example, then I'll be happy. So in this part, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my journey of pain, confusion, discovery, and eventually now I'm on a journey to healing and acceptance. So if you're new to my channel, I'm Sasha. The first question is, when did I start noticing the symptoms? I started noticing the symptoms when I started seeing my period in Africa. I think I must have started my period at the age of 12. I was in so much pain. I was always on the toilet. Paracetamol wouldn't do it. I couldn't take aspirin. I couldn't take ibuprofen. There was one other medicine I was taking back then in the 90s. It was so bad. And my mama used to say to me that it's just part of being a woman. It's your period. Some people have pain, some don't. And she says it will get better and stuff like that. So I kept hanging on, guys. Every month I dreaded my period. Every month I dreaded going to school when I was on my period. I think it was for 2 days I would have that so bad pain. Like, I don't know what labor pain feels like, guys, but I think this was like labor pain to me. And I used to be on the toilet. I wouldn't want to get up from the toilet. My legs used to go numb from sitting there for so long. Sometimes I would sit on the bathtub as well. It was so bad, guys. So that was when I started noticing the symptoms, when I first started my period. The moment I started doubting it wasn't just a period was when I moved to Europe and the pain carried on. I had this job and I was so in pain. I couldn't go to work, and I called it was an agency I was working for then, guys. And do you know that ladies are the least understanding when it comes to period pain? And that's what really shocked me about my process to discovery, is that every lady, up until the last lady that saved my life, were always very dismissive of my problem or what I was trying to say to them. So this lady says to me, you're not the only one that has periods, it's just period pain, and that's no reason for not coming to work. And then she says to me, don't bother coming the next day. Guys, I cried. It affected my mental health because after that call, I felt so useless, guys. I felt I didn't want to go to work anymore. I didn't want to do anything because what's the point applying for another job when I know that when the month comes, the pain will be there and I won't be able to go to work. Sometimes I used to actually pray to be off on those days. Sometimes I actually used to take those days as holidays. So I planned myself. around my period, because then my period actually used to be one day early or one day late and no more. So I could pinpoint when my period was going to come out. I actually lost my 20s, guys, from endometriosis, because in my 20s I barely did anything other than trying to get through, just going to work and coming home. That was just my mission. So back in Nigeria, I used to have that 2 day pain and that was it, right? But when I came to Europe, I started having pain run up to my period. And then when my period came, I had the pain. So basically, like my husband will tell me, I spend 1 week of every month being in pain, guys. He says to me, there's no life then. You spend 3 weeks of the month being okay and spend 1 week being in intense pain, cuddled up in the toilet, in pain, bleeding, and stuff like that. So that affected my mental health. And when did I actually get the help that I needed? It took a long time, guys. So this started in my teens, my early 20s. No one was listening. I wish when I was in my 20s, I did more research to know what was happening to me. But then there wasn't really, like, internet was just like new for people like me. But maybe some people were used to internet and Google and search engines. But then I wasn't really into stuff like that. So I wish I knew those things now. I could have done my research. I could have typed more about why am I having intense period pain. Maybe things would have popped up, but I didn't, guys. If I had searched as well, would it ever get better? Or would it affect me having children? Because when I was in my 20s, I wasn't thinking of kids. So I wish I knew all this then. Maybe I would have pushed and pushed and pushed, because the consequences of all that delay is me having a complete hysterectomy and not being able to have children anymore. So if you guys understand what I'm trying to say, I hid my sadness with smile. So that's why sometimes I used to say to people, be kind to people, because there are people that may be so bubbly and so full of life, but when they go home, guys, you don't know what they're going through. I never knew what depression was or anxiety, because I used to dread going to work. But because I was young, I had ambition, I had dreams, I had things I wanted to achieve in life. Even with the period pain, I still knew that I had to achieve something in life. I won't let this kick me down. When I married my husband, and then my mama started putting pressure on me. You have to produce grandkid. I'm the first child, first daughter. So she begged, she cried. She told me how all the villagers, all the children of her friends have all got kids. I suppose my mama nagging me actually nudged me. So I suppose that was when the penny dropped, and I went to see the doctor. I remember I saw the first doctor, and she actually said to me that you maybe try and lose weight, and the pain will stop or minimize or reduce, and then maybe you can stop being anxious about your pain, that sometimes stress can make you not conceive. Maybe I wasn't insisting hard enough, guys, because every time I got that go and lose weight, even though I was not overweight, I was like, all you can see was muscles. I think I'll probably put a picture of my old picture in the comment section so that you guys can see that time, how slim I was, and them telling me to lose weight, bearing in mind I'm 5'8" I call myself 5'9", guys. So I suppose I didn't really like shout hard enough. I just used to come out of the GP surgery feeling deflated, that they said I need to go and lose weight, to the extent I started like, I didn't even used to eat that much. I remember fainting once at the train station. I started jogging and I was feeling so lightheaded, because I was like, okay, this is what the doctor says. So I took it serious, and it still wasn't working. But my mom, thanks to her nagging, she carried on and carried on and carried on nagging. Have a child, have a child, have a child. I suppose then I started thinking, okay, I need to like go and say something to these doctors again. And then I think we had to use the right words, and that was all the words that these doctors are programmed to understand. Because all this time I've been going to the doctor's surgery, I've been telling them, I've been having bad periods pain. So this time around, I think I decided my husband has to come with me. Yeah, I remember. And we saw an older doctor. And then we said to him that I've never been pregnant before. And we've been together for a long time. I met my husband 2010. And since then, I think this was in 2013. So I said for 3 years, we've been having unprotected sex and I haven't been pregnant. Those were the words that I used. And I think also the combination of my husband, because if I had gone on my own, I don't know if they would have still listened to me. And then my husband chimed in. He was so insistent. He was like, there's something wrong. She's always in pain. She bleeds heavy. And this time my period started becoming irregular. Like when I was younger, I could pinpoint when my period would come. But when I started getting older, it started being irregular. Sometimes it would come in the beginning of the month. Sometimes it would come at the end of the month. Sometimes it would not even come for 3 months. And then the doctor said, that's not normal. That they always says that couples that have tried for at least a year should seek help if they've never been pregnant. So that was how my journey to discovery of what endometriosis was. And it wasn't just endometriosis I had, guys. It wasn't just endometriosis. I was carrying around, being dismissed. It wasn't just endometriosis. So that was how the ball got rolling. I decided I need to research more about this. There's no point burying my head under the sand and praying and hoping, because in Africa, where I come from, they believe in prayers. With prayers, anything can happen. I believed that in those days, that if I pray, if I do good, if I have a pure heart, then things will work for me.